Okay, we're going to jump right into this video. I am using an angle brush and I'm taking my go-to MAC Dipdown pomade to fill in her eyebrows. This is my little cousin Milan. She want to be my model today. Then I'm taking a spoolie and I'm brushing that in to even out the product and make sure everything is blended very well. And then I also use that Anastasia brow definer in dark brown to fill it in a little more, get it more to the color that I want. And then I conceal the bottom of the eyebrow. I use the Maybelline Master concealer in medium dark. I take that concealer and I bring it all the way down to her lid because I'm going to use it as an eyeshadow base. So I make sure I do a nice fine line under the brow and I just blend it all the way down because that's going to be my base. And then you're going to see me go back in with the eyebrows to correct the brows. And that blending brush I'm using is the MAC 286 blending brush. I use that to blend out the concealer. See, like I said, I always go back in with that MAC dip down to just make sure I get the lines great and even because I like a snatched brow. I do not like puny eyebrows. Now I'm using NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil in black. I'm using this as a base for the green eyeshadow that I'm going to be using later on. Once I apply that, I go ahead and I blend out the edges so there's no harsh lines. I'm going into my Morphe 350 palette and I'm using a light brown color, like a neutral color that's kind of close to her skin complexion. I'm putting that on her brow bone. Next, I'm going to use my Zulu palette by Juvia's Place and I'm taking a darker brown to just put that right above my crease, but right underneath that light brown color that I put on my brow bone. Then I'm going to use the Saharan 2 palette by Juvia's Place, and I'm going to use a deeper brown just to darken up her crease bone some more. And in that same palette, I'm taking a light green metallic color and I'm packing that in on her lid, in the inner corner of her eyelid. I'm using like a regular flat eyeshadow brush. Then I jump back into the Zulu palette and I take more of a darker metallic green and I put that in the middle of her eyelid and I pack that color on using a patting motion. As you can tell, she was starting to love how the look was turning out. But anyways, so I go back in all those browns I used for her transition color. I go back in to make sure that none of the color was lost when I was adding the green eyeshadow. And then I go back into the Morphe 350 palette and I mix like a dark dark brown, kind of like black color, like two colors, and I put that in like her outer V of her eye, and I kind of blend that in towards the green eyeshadow to get it more like a blended ombre look a little bit. And I just use a little, I just basically just dip the tip of the blending brush into that black, and I just slowly build the product up because you don't want to get it too dark and muddy. And then I'm going to use Maybelline Lash Sensational Mascara, and I've used that for her eyelashes because I'm about to put her lashes on. And the lashes that I'm going to use, they don't have a name. They were just some eyelashes that she got when she bought some hair off of Amazon. So I use those. Then I'm using NYX black liquid liner, and I'm using that to put that on her lash line. Then I move on to priming her face, and I'm using, of course, MAC Prep and Prime. And I'm taking little dots and I'm putting that all over her face. And then moving on to her foundation, I am using the Fenty Beauty foundation in 420. And of course, I'm using a beauty blender, and it is damp. And for her highlight, I am using Tarte Concealer in Deep. And to contour her cheeks and her nose and forehead, I am using Black Radiance True Complexion in medium to dark. And to set her contour, I'm using Black Radiance pressed powder in Rich Mahogany. And the brush that I'm using, I believe that is a RT 200. I got it from Target and I am in love with this brush. So I use that to blend it in towards her highlight so there is no harsh lines. And then to set her highlight, of course, I'm using Black Opal finishing powder in Deep. Now I'm going to dust off the setting powder, and I'm using the RT 400 powder brush. I'm using that just to dust all the excess powder off of her highlight. And to set everything, I am using MAC Skin Finish in Dark. And I'm using that same powder brush that I used to dust off the excess setting powder, just to, blend everything out together. Like I said, blending is key. And for blush, I'm using Black Radiance. What is this? Baked Bronzer, I believe is what it is. Yeah, I use it all the time. I don't know why I can't remember it, but it's Baked Bronzer. And for her highlight, I'm going in the Black Radiance contour palette in medium to dark. And I use that highlight that comes with it just to highlight my cheek, or her cheeks, her nose, and her forehead. And the same browns that I use as a transition color, I use that to smoke out her lower lash line to give it more of a smoky look.